gets resolved in court, and we play the expert witness role to be that independent expert who says, this is the value of the business, this is what I believe, and we're up there on the witness stand defending that.
Nick, I just want to start off by asking the question that is on everyone's mind. How did you get 1 million followers on TikTok?
That's a good one. Yes, I'm still asking myself the same question, along with what is TikTok?
Exactly. Now, I know a lot of people are just waiting for you to launch your account. I know it's very hot, in the financial industry to talk about things in the social media environment. But I didn't know if that was part of your future plans, or you're just going to hold off and see if that's going to be an area that you'd want to go into.
I'll ask my 13-year-old daughter to decide that for me.
She might be the best person to help you with that one. But I am in studio with Nick Adamy from Adamy Valuation, and we are actually in Denver, Colorado. So welcome back to the Mile High City, Nick.
Thank you. Feels good to be here.
Yeah, we turned up the heat for you. We wanted to just be that right temperature.
It's a dry heat, right?
Yeah, we took away the humidity of the Midwest, which is where you're from originally.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about Adamy Valuation. This is your second generation owner.
Yeah, so we're a family business, and to be honest, it didn't occur to us right away. We never intended to be a family business, but my dad started the firm in 1979, and I joined. I joined about 15 years ago, and sort of. Maybe coincidentally, we work with a lot of family businesses, so we can relate. We've been through our own leadership transition, our own ownership transition, and so now we are a second generation family business, marching forward and serving clients all over the country.
So even with what Adamy does in the world of business valuation, you've actually had to do that for your own company. You've gone through the actual transition of moving from one owner to another, which seems to be an issue that a lot of family businesses at some point have to go to.
That's exactly right, and it has been. One of the most fun parts about what we do is meeting new businesses, working with business owners, learning about what makes their business tick, and part of that is learning about their leadership succession. So having gone through that ourselves, having gone through a very similar situation, I can put myself in their shoes and really relate. And that's been fun.
I'm trying to imagine in the last 15 years, because you had a whole career before you even came to Adamy, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And so, add that to the list that you've been here for 15 years. How many different types of companies have you actually worked with? I mean, it's got to be, 30, 40 different types of verticals of different types of companies you've worked with.
Probably. Yeah. And that's, that, like I said, that really is the most fun part about what we do. And I mean, you mentioned, how many have I worked with, but one really cool thing about our firm is that everybody gets to work with our clients. Everybody gets to go out and visit them, do plant tours, get inside and really understand what makes these companies tick. And that's something that particularly for entry-level finance people right out of college, not a lot of people get that opportunity. So that's something that I think really sets us apart.
Yeah, a lot of folks coming out of college are probably put right in their cube.
That's right.
and please look at this spreadsheet and do this type of work, 9 to 5, and we would prefer that you not, be in front of our clients. You get the entry level folks right out there and get their hands dirty right off the bat.
That's right. We visit the clients, and people get to do that in their first year, sometimes in their first few weeks, and that is a lot of fun. I mean, I can picture some of our visits walking through a foundry, molten metal being poured next to us. Walking through a forging operation where you've got glowing hot metal that's pounded, going through a software company and seeing what it is they do, seeing their platform online and saying, hey, I've used that before. Things like that are really cool to experience.
And then the very next day you could be putting on clean clothes, clean gloves, clean hats, and going through a chip manufacturer
Or a biomedical device manufacturer or a laboratory. Absolutely.
Or
That is
throwing
fun.
on your boots and heading right out to a farm,
To a dairy farm.
to a
That's right.
dairy farm, and everything in between.
Yep.
What are some of the reactions you've seen from some of the newer people when they come back and they've had a chance to visit with a customer and a client? What's that like for a new person?
Yeah, it's fun to see, sort of their eyes light up and to hear them describe this company. And, it's still new and exciting for me, but to see it through somebody else's eyes and to see that excitement and enthusiasm come back to the office and, tell our colleagues, hey, you wouldn't believe what these folks do. They take this and they turn it into that, and then they sell it for huge margins. And I had no idea that, that this business existed right here in our backyard.
So it's probably not just experience for new people. It's got to be an amazing education for them. I mean,
Yeah.
they're probably always just learning something new each day. What I'm hearing you say is that Adamy, it's not a go to work. You're going to be doing the same type of thing every day.
And that really speaks to one of our core values, which is intellectual curiosity. We attract people who want to understand how things work, how the world works. And so that's part of what draws us to this profession. We get into companies, new industries, things we've never seen before. And we really want to dig in and say, what makes this tick? How does this work? Why is this company successful? What are the challenges it's had? What are the reasons why it's overcome those challenges? That's really what drives us to do what we do.
And if someone's in an accounting and finance profession, maybe they're new into their career, or maybe they're still in college,
Yep.
right? What are some things you would tell them just around that topic of intellectual curiosity? How does someone spark that inside of themselves so they can start to want to learn more?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because it raises the question: is it innate, or is it something that can be taught?
That can be trained. Is it trained, or you just have it, or you don't?
I
Right?
know that people who are attracted to us, people who succeed, who really thrive in our firm, are people who have that. And whether they were born with it or whether it was something that sparked along the way, maybe it was a science class in school, maybe it was an outstanding college professor they had that opened their eyes to a whole new world. Whatever it is, by the time they reach us, they have it, and that is what really sets our people apart.
And I know you assess for it, so you look for those.
Oh, yeah.
Look for those types of people.
That's exactly right.
Well, also you're in a really highly attention to detail type of business, right? Especially when doing these business valuations, you're constantly working with attorneys, you're working with CPAs, right?
That's right.
My guess is the quality level that you need to have for these type of people probably needs to be off the charts.
Yeah. If a mistake is going to get through, someone's going to find it. And so we've got to find it first. So it is an interesting balance of creativity, intellectual curiosity, but rigorous attention to detail and quality control.
What are some of the other values that that Adamy has that really sets you apart in the industry of business valuation?
Well, that does get to tenaciously committed to quality, right? That's one of our core values, and it's kind of a funny word to choose, tenacious, but that it really connects with that intellectual curiosity. We dig in. We want to understand what makes this thing tick, and we're not going to let go until we really are confident we've got the right answer.
What's another value that kind of sticks out in your head?
Probably the most important one is unbiased integrity. And that's because what we do, we are the independent outsider. We are objective. It makes it a little bit difficult from a sales perspective. We can't necessarily give our clients the answer they want. We can give them the answer that we believe.
So what I'm hearing you say is, I'm going to sell my company, and I want to have a valuation that says my company is worth $10 million. But if the person who's buying my company says, I want that valuation to be at $2 million, there's probably a pretty big difference in between. And so you're working with attorneys, you're working with CPAs to find the right third-party independent.
And we're not going to do that client any favor if we tell them what they want to hear, because it's not going to stand up in whatever the situation is. So for example, if it's a transaction that could be challenged by a third party, we're going to tell them what we believe and what we can stand behind, and we'll stand behind it and defend it to the end. But we're not going to tell them what they want to hear, because we can't defend something that we don't believe.
Does that happen a lot, Nick? Do people go to court often with differences in valuation?
When people go to court, it's because they have a difference in valuation.
So that happens a lot then, that people disagree and they end up going to court, and it's because of valuation?
That's right. Often, if people can't agree on the value of a business and it's subject to a dispute, it gets resolved in court, and we play the expert witness role to be that independent expert who says, this is the value of the business. This is what I believe. And we're up there on the witness stand defending that belief.
So you say we, there's other people other than you, obviously, behind you.
That's right. We have a whole roster of experts who testify in court on the value of businesses in shareholder disputes, in commercial litigation, and in divorce.
Kind of sounds like it's a pretty great company, Nick.
We think so.
How in a nutshell, how would you define the culture?
The culture is collaborative and supportive, and it's not a Wall Street culture. At the same time, we work hard, but we help each other, we support each other, we help each other learn, we help each other meet deadlines, and we lift each other up.
If someone were interested in wanting to learn more about Adamy, whether they wanted to come in at different parts in the company, or whether they were interested in analyst, or maybe it's someone who's in college, right? And they're looking forward to graduating and working in the exciting field of doing business valuation. How would they find you?
Website's always the best place. That's where I'd start, and then we can get that person connected with our head of recruiting, or maybe one of the analysts, or someone who's done an internship with us to learn a little bit more.
Excellent. Well, that is adamyvaluation.com is that website, and we are finished up now with Nick Adamy. Nick, thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
It's great being here, Luke. Thank you.
Thanks.